Kia ora, welcome into the Mori preview. The best races coming up over the weekend, and this week we'll be looking at Awapuni and Tauranga as far as the gallops are concerned, and of course Group 1 action for the harness out at Alexandra Park on Friday night. Joining us this week on the form is Aidan Rodley, Bevan Sweeney and Leith Innes, and we've got plenty to talk about. So let's have a look what's coming up on the agenda. The Group 3 metric mile will be our main feature preview out of Awapuni. Our racetrack is as per usual. We head to Tauranga. We'll be having a look at the Open there and two nice maiden affairs. The harness preview with the Whale, that Group 1 action on Friday night for the 2-year-olds, and our best bets as per usual to round out the show. Well, as mentioned, we will be concentrating on the Hunterville Vet Centre Group 3 metric mile out of Awapuni. So let's head to you, Bevan Sweeney. Good morning to you. What weather and track conditions can we expect on Saturday?
Hello team, great to be joining you on the form again. At the present moment, the track is in a really good nick. Now, there is some rain forecast for Saturday. It's supposed to arrive in the afternoon. Whether that's going to have any sort of nominal impact on track conditions, not 100% sure, because the forecast has been changing day on day and improving. So I think they might get a little bit of rain, Pip, but I still think we're going to be running on a pretty decent sort of track, and it's amazing how the weather conditions have changed inside 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be great to see that better surface as we take a look at the market. Option 407, headed by a ladies' man for Alan Sharrock at 450. Also has Just Ask Me in the race at that $10 quote. There has been money for kick on as well for Kevin Myers, $14 now shopping at 11s, and Cork safe enough at $5.50. So that's a look at the market. What about the speed, Leith? Tactically, where do you see the faves positioning?
Yeah, there's probably about 3 leaders in the race. Sweet Janine, Shelby Rocking and Kingfisher Lad from the inside draw probably looks like the natural leader, and then you've got those back markers like Ladies Man, Just Ask Me and Penny Wecker and Platinum Invader probably all going to get back.
Well, you mentioned Ladies Man. Let's take a look at the most recent performance from both of the Sharrock runners. This is at Hawera, and again, Sweens, look, both of them eye-catching late in the piece, but noticeably there, Ladies Man making up good ground and behind Mustang Valley.
Yeah, look, both Just Ask Me and Ladies Man were very, very good, because it's hard to make up a lot of ground at New Plymouth. Look, the draws are worry for Ladies Man. Clearly the horse is going really, really well, but there's plenty more in store for him. He'll have to be really good to win on Saturday from his draw. Just Ask Me with the senior rider back on, hit the line really nicely. If he gets rain, then he'll come right into it, even with his weight. But he's going really well, Ladies Man, Leith.
He is. Yeah, he's won over 1400 twice. You know, look, I know they've got the New Zealand Cup in the back of their minds, so I don't think they'll be really wanting too much more weight. You know, the wide jaw's probably not going to suit him either.
Got 50 kilograms for the Melbourne Cup when weights were released on Tuesday. That run at New Plymouth is really good. He actually meets Just Ask Me 3.5 kilograms better from that on what was a 5-length margin. Yeah, the draw's a little bit sticky, but he's going well enough to be winning this.
Certainly does look to be a key chance in the race. So does this runner, though, from Lisa Ladder's stable in Ballarat. Boy will take you back to his win in the Winter Cup. Beats race rivals here, Bevan, in the lightweight of 53 kilos, but it shows what he's capable of.
Oh, he's a very good horse. Very good horse. He was beautifully trained for this day. Cork was very good on this, and Just Ask Me was brilliant with his weight and jumping a little bit handier. I think these horses will need some rain, Leith. Is that your impression? If the track is in a good state, then maybe they might be outpaced in a race like this?
A little bit. It's going to be interesting. I think Just Ask Me is definitely, if it does rain, he's going to come right into it. But, you know, Ballarat Boy, he gets him with a beautiful weight of 54.5, home track. There's a bit to like about him.
It's an interesting race, isn't it? Because the Winter Cup, 4 out of the first 5 home in that race go around in this metric mile. So it's going to be a key form line. Ballarat Boy going well enough. I think he's probably maybe the pick of those, Pip.
Well, let's take you back to Penny Wecker now, completely different form line. We'll take you back to the Group 1 Tarzino for the stayer of the season last year, Sweens. So look, a really nice run from her, considering all you want to see is her hitting the line, and she did that.
Yeah, I thought she was really good. She travelled up nicely and behind them, and just when the sprint went on, she couldn't quite go with them, and that's what you'd expect from a mare who's looking for a further trip. She's going well. I've certainly seen her and been impressed with her behind the scenes. 1600 metres, still short of her best and plenty more in store.
Yeah, look, she was really good at Hawke's Bay. We all knew that it was 1400 was a little bit short for her, but you know, that head on there, you see her past the crossing, and she was really making up some ground. I definitely wouldn't, you know, put it past her to run a top 4 race.
I reckon she's a real value in the race. What are we getting, $14, $15 around a mare, 4-year-old mare? 4-year-old mare won this race last year, Mustang Valley, and her lead up in Group 1 weight for Age Company is definitely comparable to the rating 75 that Mustang Valley won leading into this last year. I think she's going every bit as what Mustang Valley was last year, and I think she's a real value play in the metric mile.
Oh, I like that, Aidan. A bit of value as we take a look at another runner we want to highlight. This is Lanacord finishing second, fresh up over the mile. How did you assess this run, Bevan?
She's going really well. I saw her at the trials prior to this run, and maybe Stephen has finally got her back in her best form. She really attacked the line on this particular day. Look, she's drawn very awkwardly again for her. I'm not exactly sure where she'll end up in the run, but look, she's right up to a race like this at a lightweight.
Yeah, she's been off the winners list for quite a while. She hasn't won since the Lowland Stakes in 2021 as a 3-year-old. That was over 2,100 metres. But look, I think if they go forward and are positive and the track comes back a little bit, I think she's a top each way chance.
It's a long time away from the winner's circle, isn't it? And sometimes you get into a race where you're rated to win it, so maybe you're a chance. But she's not rated to win this one.
Well, that's the form we wanted to highlight leading into the race. Certainly looks open, Bevan, so which way are you leaning?
Hey, I'm going to go with some value because I think Kelly Coe from the speed map gets an absolute cracking trip, and there's some McGinns around the draws, around Ladies Man, Just Ask Me will be right back, and a few others. I think Kelly Coe gets a perfect trip, maybe in the 1-1 and behind some reasonable sort of speed. She'll need some rain to arrive because she just does need a little bit of cut out of the track, but I've always been a fair supporter of Kelly Coe, and for me, I'm going to tip you a bit of value in the feature on the program, and around about $16. I think Kelly Coe can run certainly very, very well.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Lanacord. Look, she's drawn out, but she gets 53 kilos in the race, and look, I know she's been out of the winner's circle for quite a long time. She's only won the 2 races, but she's racing some really good horses in the past, and I think she's a great each way chance.
Wow, that surprises me, Leith, but hopefully that losing habit can be broken. I've gone with the favourite here, Ladies Man. Interesting to know that, well, he's a middle distance staying horse, but boy, his last 2 runs over sprint trips have been fantastic. I think 1,600 metres suits him this weekend.
There you have it. That's what the guys are liking, each with a different runner in the feature on the weekend, the Group 3 metric mile. Catch the action nice and early, 12 p.m. midday with Bevan Sweeney on the Punters Lounge. Yes, it's that time on the form. Our race trackers to follow. We're going to start with you, Leith, as usual. Who have you got your eye on this week?
Look, I'm going to go to an unplaced horse, Prometheus of Robert Wellwood and Roger James. Nothing went right this day. He was slow out of the gates, and Taupo is one of those tracks. You have one backward step, and it's a long way to making up ground. Look, you see him here. He runs home nicely for 5th, but I think he's going to come out of this race. You'll find a nice 1,400 metre maiden somewhere, and I think he's going to be a top chance.
Is that another one for Ronnie Dixon? I think I saw him in the Pokemano when he said his horse had run home nicely. So, yeah, a real follow there, Leith. This was great for punters at Ideal 1, but watch this with Battle Secret. He looked good at the trials, and in the last 50 metres, when he's starting to run on, Ideal floats out, Better Than the Witness floats in, and dearie me. He gets to the line under a hold. He's going over 2,000 metres at his next start at Hawara, and he should be really hard to beat.
It's interesting who you meet at the Pokemano, isn't it, Bevan? Normally you meet Bevan Sweeney. Anyhow, let's take you back to yesterday at Matamata, and here's Adam I Am, who was superb in winning yesterday. We knew this horse had the ability, but this was a real statement win by one who's going right to the top of the grades.
It certainly looks to be that way. It is a nice meeting yesterday at Matamata, with this being filmed on Thursday. And I'm going to go with a horse that's already featured on the form with Leith, and it's Mary Shan here for Andrew Forsman at Taupo. Again, this was a day where they just weren't making up any ground really off the back. She was sectionally the best in this race. They went a whole second faster than the other maiden 1,300 metre racer on the day. And she's still around $16 in the 1,000 guineas. Looks like the mile could really suit her at Riccarton come that time. And overdue a win after her first 2 starts. So let's have a look at a summary for you. Prometheus for Leith, Battle Secret for Bevan, Aiden's with Adam I Am, and I'm sticking with Mary Shan for Andrew Forsman. Note them down and pop them in your race trackers. Trying to turn our attention now to Tauranga, the other meeting on the day. And Aidan Rodley, what are we expecting as far as the track conditions?
Well, that's the dicey part. Obviously, as we record this on a Thursday, it's a soft 6 condition we can see here, but there is rain in the forecast, so just how early it hits will be having a decent bearing on just what conditions are. Fingers crossed that it does sort of stay away a little bit, but then we've got Rotorua on Sunday, Gore on Sunday as well, so just be interesting to see how that weather does develop towards the weekend.
Absolutely, it will be. Well, let's see what the market is playing like. You can see Bella the Ball favourite at $3. Has moved in slightly in this market too. Got spotted at $3.60. Fontaine at 6.5 along with Digger and Dusty Road. So certainly looks open enough here in this affair. A couple we want to highlight. We'll take you back. Firstly, the speed map. Leith, you've got Crystallised leading this race.
Yeah, Crystallised should get a nice draw. Easy lead from barrier 2. Monrico from the outside will go forward, Dusty Road, and I wouldn't be surprised if Opie on Gospodin with 62 kilos rides very positively early.
Well, let's take a look at Gospodin. This was the 5th in the Foxbridge Plate, and Aidan really hard to knock this form. It was certainly impressive and behind some nice types.
Yeah, absolutely. The query this time round is just the big weight, 62 to carry. This is the 5th placing, I think, in the Foxbridge Plate, isn't it, from a couple of starts back, which was really good and beating home some quality horses under weight for age conditions. Not quite so good a Group 1 company in the Tarzino last time out, but we know the quality's there. It's just the 62 kilograms that just has got to be some sort of concern, but classy enough to be a factor.
Yeah, obviously the 62 kilos are going to be, pretty hard for him, but it's his home track, and look, if the rain does come and it gets too heavy, I think he's a top 2 chance.
Another one we want to highlight is from Ralph Manning's stable in Fontaine. This was the win recently up at Ruakaka. How did you assess this winning form, Aidan?
It's pretty good, and actually it looks okay at the weights in comparison to Crystallised, who she did beat last time out as well. So she's going well, the stable's going well. The more I looked at this race, and I don't know how you felt about it, Leith, but it came down to horses for courses, and one thing Fontaine just hasn't done in the past is perform at Tauranga.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Ralph Manning has horses are flying at the moment. Look, she was pretty good in that race, but like you said, it's a little bit horses for courses Tauranga, and she doesn't really like the track.
Well, let's now take a look at the favourite, Bella the Ball. This is her running 4th on the Premier meeting at Hastings. And look, this was eye-catching, Aidan, considering she was in tight corners up the rail and probably with a bit more room could have finished closer. Yeah, absolutely right, Pip. And it was a really nice return from now a 5-year-old mare who's raced pretty well in good company right through. The strike rate says should be a decent chance off the minimum with Warren Kennedy, so a lot of upside from the right stable. Second up, just interesting to see how this one goes again. I'm just not so sure about that Tauranga dynamically.
Yeah, look, she has won second up before. Look, it was a beautiful run at Hawke's Bay, and you'd think she'd take a lot of improvement out of it. Yeah, like you said, there's a little bit of a question mark on the track, but I think at the weights, she looks like a top 2 chance for me as well.
There you go, that's some key chances. Aidan Rodley, who are you selecting on top?
Threw the balls in the air and they landed on Digger, but without any real conviction. I thought this was a really difficult race. One thing about Digger that, as I said, I did come back to is that Tauranga record. 4 starts on the track for a couple of wins. The only 2 wins in his career to go with a minor placing. No real confidence in this race whatsoever. Who'd you land on, Leith?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the weather. If it does rain, good spot, and I really like him, even though he's got the 62. But if the tracks are slow 6, slow 7, I think Bella the Ball's a one for me.
That's race number 5 on the card. Now let's have a look at race number 3. This is the Ultimate Mazda over the 1,300 metres, option 203. Lupo Solitario at 230. What You Wish For at 250. And My Lips Are Sealed, the other runner, at $6. Let's take you back to Lupo Solitario at Te Rapa. And boy, this was a nice maiden affair, Aidan, but he just put pay to them.
Yeah, really nice win. Second horse is, well, obviously the third horse you've spoken about being really good this day and then good last time at Tauranga, that's Mary Shan. The second horse is Glamour Tycoon, who's already stakes placed. So this is a really nice performance, good debut. Second up into this. Should be well placed. This will be a race where the track conditions have a real bearing, not only on performance, but also on whether these horses actually are even competing for starters, Leith.
Yeah, obviously they'll all be crying out for a better track. He was super at Te Rapa when he won his maiden. If you go back and have a look at the 500, Ryan was sort of giving him a little bit of a squeeze, and then all of a sudden he's just popped up into the bridle and he's won like a really good horse. And look, they've turned down some serious money for him as well.
Yeah, they certainly have. As we have a look now at the Te Akau runner, What You Wish For also kept safe in the market and all but had this race sewn up, Aidan, until bombed on the line by Solidify.
Still a really good performance by a good horse. Looks to be really progressive. 3-year-old gelding by Embellish, and yeah, it was a terrific run from Solidify to actually beat What You Wish For. But the encouraging thing is that this horse really did return in good style and should be further improved. Opie Bosson to do the riding, so a lot of upside, Leith.
Yeah, obviously they'll be looking for a better sort of track as well, and he was massive at Taupo. He'd take a lot of benefit out of the run as well, so yeah, definitely a top 2 chance.
Right, that's what the guys are liking. Aidan, let's head to you. Are you with one of the favourites or looking elsewhere?
Now, pretty much around the top, What You Wish For me. Again, those track conditions just will have a bearing, but they'll be looking after horses who they don't think can handle the conditions, so they'll either be running or, you know, they'll be saved for a better track on another day. Leith, who was your top selection?
Yeah, I like Danica guy, Lupo Solitario. Look, he's had a trial at Avondale, so he has been right-handed once before. He's a beautiful horse. Look, they only paid 80,000 for him, and they've turned down some, like I said, some serious money.
It's going to be a very good race, one not to miss as we now concentrate on the first race of the day. And this is a really good race as well. It's the Garshaw Construction maiden over the 1200 metres. Knowledge is Power, $1.80 favourite. About last night, nipping on the heels in the market at $2.50. And you can see everything else out to double figure odds. Let's take a look at Knowledge is Power. We'll take you back to the most recent trial at Waipa. And when asked to go, Aidan, he's just left them behind here with ease.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 really good trials so far. The first one was behind Bellatrix Star, who's gone on to win at Wanganui on debut. And this one where it really was effortless. Sam Weatherly in the saddle this day, scores by 3.5 without being fully tested, really impressively.
Yeah, his previous trial before that, it was massive at Te Rapa as well. Like he looks like he's got a good bit of ring craft for a 2-year-old. He can put himself there just in behind the speed, or he can lead them up. Yeah, really nice horse.
Well, speaking of the trial you've already mentioned, let's take you back to the first one. Was on a heavier surface, but Aidan, as you alluded to, beaten by Bellatrix Star, who's now franked that form. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, the Bellatrix Star form is key to this race, not only on Knowledge is Power, but also the stablemate about last night. But I'm really keen to get Leith's thoughts on this trial. What was the things that really impressed you most?
Look, the best thing was, Aidan, he just sat off them. Look, they didn't lead on him. He come off a pretty even sort of tempo, and he was strong to the line. Look, he looks like the professional racehorse to me.
Well, that's the runner that we wanted to highlight. But Aidan, are you with him on top? Is it that clear cut to you?
No, it's not. I'm going to go the stablemate about last night, who, you know, like Knowledge is Power, brings a very good trial win. The trial win was by 4 1/4 lengths. It was very impressive. Second horse was Redemption, who's gone on to win a trial since then. Third horse was Hard Attack, who pushed Bellatrix Star to a nose at Wanganui on debut. It's, for mine, the best trials form leading into this, even accounting for what we've seen from Knowledge is Power, who I'm picking you're going with, Leith?
Yeah, I've gone for Knowledge of Power. Look, Opie on. It's Team Te Akau against Team Rogerson, so it's going to be a pretty exciting race over 950 metres. But look, I have Knowledge on Power on top. I think he's a top class.
Certainly could be a Quinella play there in the first out of Tauranga. That's a look at the meeting, and we'll be catching all of the action. Their first race, 103 on TAB Trackside 1. So welcome into our harnesses segment on the form with Craig Thompson. And Craig, we've got Group 1 action back at Alexandra Park for the fillies in the Caduceus Club Classic.
Yeah, Philippa, good morning to you. Good morning to the form viewers. Really looking forward to being at Auckland on Friday night. Of course, our race has been dominated by the All-Stars for the last 9 years. We saw Millwood Nike, the unbeaten Millwood Nike, take it out last year. It's more of an even field this year. Obviously with the draws, the way they've panned out, and we've got the South Islanders drawn 1, 2 and 3, so they didn't get the visitors draws, and probably your favourite at Barrier 8's really evened this field up. But I did like Kiss. I thought the 350 the bookmakers put up, she ran second in the Delightful Lady Classic as a 2-year-old, and I do think even from the draw, what helps her chances is they step up from the 1700 to 2200 metres this week, which is the longer trip for the girls, and I think that probably evens the race out a little bit more. It's harder over a mile when you're drawn wide. Over 2200, it does give you a chance to get into the race. Coastal Babe, good winner last start at Cambridge at 480, and then you're getting out to about $6 for the All-Stars. But this is Kiss winning her heat of the Sire Stakes at Alexandra Park 3 weeks ago, Philippa, and she drew Barrier 8 this night, and she had to go back, and gee, she took off a long way from home. She probably took off at nomination, Zach Butcher, but kept going and sustained a long run to win. Beat Seaside Star and a couple of rivals here. I thought it was an excellent performance, and then she went to Cambridge and again drew awful. Barrier 7 did plenty of work in running. I thought it was a really encouraging run. I think she's the best filly. She's not got the best draw, but you're probably getting the right price at $3.50. Wouldn't want to take anything less than that. We've got some really nice up-and-comers in here. Steve Telfer's got 3 runners in this race. I didn't mind the roughest of his 3 called Adore Dreamer. It's the half to Akuta. Yep. Now, it's $11. She doesn't get much draws very well in the last 3 starts, but she's got a nice barrier draw at 5. And then obviously you got the All-Stars, probably the best of their 2, the inside one that Mark's driving. 7 into 5 as we record. Of course, out of Group 1 winner and Oh Baby, and I didn't mind its first up run. Gets the right barrier draw to be a factor.
Oh, it looks like there's plenty of chances, Craig. So who are you liking on top in this?
Well, I'll go for the Kiss. I think, as I said, I think if she drew probably 1 to 4, she'd be probably around $2. So you're getting $3.50. As I said, I wouldn't probably take under $3 for her because I think they're a very even bunch, but I like what I've seen so far.
Well, that's one of the races we want to talk about. Now we need to have a look at the Spring Cup. Race number 7 on the program, headed by Copy That in the market, Craig, $1.50. Nicholas Cage, $4.80. So certainly moving from his opening quote.
Yeah, well, I think the bookmakers, I hate to say this because they could prove me wrong, I think they had Nicholas Cage probably double the price that he should have been at. $9 for a horse that won the Founders Cup and beat who? Akuta, and also Copy That. Now, they were off even marks that night. That was a 1,700 metre mobile. Nicholas Cage got 20 metres on Copy That, and of course Copy That's still on the improve. He got beaten by Hooray Henry last week, and I thought he had every chance. He'll be a better horse, and it's very hard to tip against him, but if I was to tip one to knock off the favourite this week, it's Nicholas Cage, and this is his trial, Philippa, last weekend at Franklin. Now, I know it's only a trial. They didn't go overly quick, but I had a good talk to Andrew Neal during the week. I rang him on Wednesday and said, listen, where we're at with this horse. Unfortunately, Andrew's not going to be there. He's got a function to go to, but he said to me, he's going really well. Standing start shouldn't be a problem. He thinks the horse is in the zone at the moment. More importantly, he's strengthened up from his 3-year-old campaign. Obviously, he went south for the Derby. He's come back. He's always been a big horse, but now he's a strong horse. If he would work to the front from a standing start here, as I said, I think his right price is around about that $4 mark, so he's probably got to that mark now. Copy That, well, he got beaten in this video by Hooray Henry, and they only run a quarter and a half. They run him in 54.6, and I was surprised that he got beaten. I know he's a bit porky, he's a bit like me at the moment, Copy That, but I think he'll improve this week. Whether he'll improve enough to beat Nicholas Cage, we'll find out tomorrow night, Philippa, but it's great to have him back. After this, obviously, we'll head to the Holmes DG and then probably to Ashburton, but we'll get a guide on where Copy That is at the moment. What I would say is if you're a Copy That fan, the bookmakers have boosted his odds to $8.50 for the Cup. He was 7. He's out to $8.50 with that defeat last week. If he happened to win tomorrow night, I'm thinking he comes back in again.
Yeah, well, look, very interesting race. But just listening to you, Craig, I think you're leaning towards Nicholas Cage.
Well, I think the value's there. I mean, I'm not playing $1.40 on Copy That. I think he's the best horse by a long way in the race, and it doesn't surprise me if he wins. But if you're playing outside the square, even if you're playing top 2 on Nicholas Cage, I think he's over $2 versus $1.40 around the favourite.
We look forward to it. All of the action, Tabby Trackside 1, Friday night. Craig will be on track 2 to take you through it. Don't miss it, first around 5 p.m.
The 2 favourites go to war again. 2 feisty fillies getting down and dirty in the Canterbury Bell. Alyssa Dreams, Viva Vienna. Viva Vienna lunch. Victory for Viva Vienna. Does it again to beat Alyssa Dreams.
Yes, just the one winner on the form last week. Certainly wasn't easy, but we'll go to the man that got that winner. Leith, who have you found for us this week?
Yeah, I'm going to race one at Tauranga. I love this horse, Knowledge is Power, ridden tycoon horse. Hopefully the track stays in that sort of slow sort of area. He probably doesn't like it sort of if it gets a bit worse to a heavy track, but I think he'll be taking out race one at Tauranga.
I was tossing up between This Is Dramatic and Barzetti. I've gone with Barzetti as my best on the program. Was in a 75 on a Premier Day at Hastings last start. Had the run, ran third, drops back to a 65 at home. I just think the price around him might be a little bit short, but I think it'll be very, very tough to beat in the fourth on the program.
For me, I'm going to take you to Gore to the second there. Obviously, heavy conditions at Gore. Here's one that will handle those. That's In Disguise. Ran fourth last time out in rating 75 company in behind its business time. It was a very good run. Drops back to rating 65 company with Kylie Williams aboard. A lot of boxes ticked there.
And I'm going for a greyhound on Friday night, Blazing Master. He'll go around in race number 9. He won the Manawatu Cup on Tuesday, beating Federal Infrared, and he did it on merit. He'll be short, but just pop him through your multis. He comes up with an ideal alley, and there's a bit of speed to his outside, but I think he'll be the stronger dog of them as he makes his way towards the New Zealand Cup. So I'll start us off with Blazing Master. Knowledge is Power for Leith, Barzetti for Bevan, the Jaffa Express. Justin's jumping in there at Winton on Saturday, and In Disguise for Aiden. That concludes the form for another week. Thanks again, team, for joining us. Enjoy your weekend and all of the action, and we'll catch you back next week. Happy punting.
Forget